Welcome back to Gatorback Cycle Park in Gainesville, Florida for the opening of the motocross season. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey. Back to Jeremy McGrath, Skip Norfolk, yelling into his ear as the bikes rev up here at the gate. Visualizing the start about this time?
Well, I'm not really sure what he does. You know, everyone's nervous. LaRocco really, this is an opportunity for him to get something started. The Supercross series is pretty much gone. But for McGrath, you know, it's just the same thing as always. His mechanic talking to him, getting him pumped up.
Okay, we're ready to go right now. Let's see how Jeremy McGrath gets out of the gate with Emig right next to him, and it's McGrath the whole shot. He picks up right where he left off. Emig, though, is giving him some pressure on the outside out of turn one. Jeremy McGrath, number one. Emig, number two. Albertine in the third spot.
Well, listen to him run the throttle wide open. I'm not sure who that was. The bikes all stand about the same, but you can see right there, Emig decided not to do that.
Albertine did the double up the elevator, and you just mentioned that Emig didn't do it.
Right, I don't think Emig had a very good line coming out of the corner. He was trying to get in there and tuck inside of McGrath. I think that was him running the throttle wide open. And look at Emig going all back and forth across the racetrack, cutting off Albertine, but Albertine finally takes it away from him, and already you can see McGrath's got a little lead.
Out of the big sweep and into the whoops, it's Jeremy McGrath, but Greg Albertine is right there. Albertine expecting more of himself this year in the National Outdoors.
Well, he's definitely putting the pressure on McGrath right now. I think Jeremy, perhaps in that first lap, he started to pull away a little bit, and it's possible that, I remember how it used to be for me. I would settle into a pace and go, well, this must be good enough. I got a little breathing room here, and all of a sudden, somebody picks it up a little bit, and then you have to readjust, and that can sometimes make you nervous, and the last thing McGrath wants to do is let Albertine get around him, because you know, that he might hold him back, and that would allow Emig and Hughes perhaps to catch up to him. So it's important for McGrath to just push forward and make Albertine really work hard for it.
Emig in third, Hughes in fourth place. That hairpin turn, and then the acceleration down the hill before going back up on the finish line jump. Hughes accelerating, he's on the left. Oh, my goodness, he hit his chin on the bar. And yet he's still taking on Jeff Emig. Number 8, Mike LaRocco, a moto winner last year here, is in 5th position, but he's a long way back from that pack of 3 battling for 2nd place.
This must be pretty frustrating for Mike, winning the first moto here last year, really being the dominant guy and being way off the pace. It might be because of his start, but still, it's...
Oh, Albertine went down, and the 2 Kawasaki's went by the Suzuki, moving into 2nd and 3rd. Jeremy McGrath, to the cheers of the record-breaking crowd here at Gatorback Cycle Park. Taking the turn now for his final ride, at least in Moto 1, of going down into the pit.
You see him jump that plateau there. He leans way forward, taps the brakes, sets the front end down. I mean, everything that he does, the amateurs are watching going, wow, did you see that? And for him, it's just second nature. It's got to feel great. A lot more competition this year, and he still showed him he's the best.
The checkers for Jeremy. Going back to last season, David Bailey, his 6th consecutive Moto win. Jeremy McGrath, the victor in Moto 1 with Emig and Hughes on the platform with him. Albertine and LaRocco rounding out the top 5. As we get set for Moto number 2 now. After winning at Jeremy McGrath, let's see what he can do with the whole shot here. And it's Emig, Jeff Emig, getting the whole shot with Hughes in 2nd. Guy Cooper, number 50, in 3rd. And McGrath is 4th. Albertine went down in the first turn. As out in front is Jeff Emig, the first green bike you see there. Ryan Hughes in 2nd place, and Jeremy McGrath, the winner of the first moto, trying to pull up on the Kawasaki's.
When that first lap, Emig was gone. He had a pretty good lead. Now they've closed back up. I think Hughes feels the pressure from...
Here comes Jeremy, moving into 2nd place. Can he hold on to it? Great bar-to-bar battle.
It looked like they kind of locked elbows there. Ryan Hughes, he's going right back after him, trying to square off on McGrath under the inside right there. Here he comes in on the outside. He's doing the right thing, but unfortunately McGrath is around him, and if he can't get him right back, McGrath may be gone. Now the battle's probably going to be for the lead, and if Hughes can hang on, he'll have a good chance to make a statement in the 250 class.
Okay, Jeremy McGrath now has picked up a little bit on Jeff Emig as they come around turn 1 after the finish line jump. It seems like McGrath loses time over near the elevator jump and now picks it up by the time they get back into turn 1.
And listen to all the yelling. You can hear the intensity in the mechanics area. That's not just the mechanic now. It's the mechanic, it's the suspension guys. the team managers, Wes McCoy, Jeff Stanton, I can see him out on the racetrack. Everyone's yelling. This is getting down to the wire, and for the first time this year, McGrath just might lose. You know, once you've had the lead as long as Emig has, and McGrath has been back there, every once in a while he presents a challenge, and he loses some time, and you get a little breathing room. I mean, after a while, when you're the leader, you start to not be as concerned about it. So for McGrath to really put pressure on Emig and force him into a mistake, he's got to stay that close, if not closer, for any hopes at all at pushing Emig into a mistake.
Over the finish line jump, it's boom, boom. It's that close, and here comes Jeremy McGrath to the inside, but Emig just enough steam to take into that first turn out in front. He cuts inside, McGrath goes wide. It's looking like bar to bar. McGrath makes the pass. Oh, with less than 2 laps remaining. And Emig comes back. Emig hits him and goes down.
That's also about the dirtiest you're going to see McGrath on a day that's not muddy. It's got to be a great feeling about 50 yards to go to the finish.
Up the hill, he can see the checkered flag waving as he crosses the finish line. Jeremy McGrath, his 7th straight moto win, if you go back to last year, and his 4th straight overall. Jeremy McGrath first, Emig, Hughes, Bradshaw, and Tishner gets into the top 5. Welcome back to Hangtown, just outside Sacramento, California. Art Ekman and David Bailey. The 250s are starting to rev it up now for their motos. After Gatorback Park, Jeremy sweeping the 2 motos, taking 2nd in both. Jeff Emig and Ryan Hughes not with us today, taking 3rd in both motos. Emig right next to him. LaRocco, Lawrence, number 13, as they get set. The gates dropped, and Jeremy, a great start. Jeremy McGrath will make it to that corner with Doug Henry on the outside. It's Henry and Albertine, Swink, Button, and Emig in good position with Jeremy out in front. Jeremy now starting to pull a little lead on Doug Henry, and you can see the gap between Henry and the 3rd place bike.
Looks like Brian Swink has finally made his way into 3rd. He's got Albertine on his tail, and it looks like Doug
Henry went down as we breeze by. Jimmy Button also into the play, number 100. Button and Albertine pounding Swink.
What a cluster going into that corner. There's only room for 1 bike. All 3 of them trying to fit it in there, but Swink's the one that's able to hang on to it.
Jimmy Button, running in Europe last year after losing a factory ride, is back in America. He's got his hands full now, and down goes Button. Emig keeps the bike alive. Bradshaw makes the move for 5th place.
He kind of was a little bit of a gift there. It looked like he was definitely applying the pressure, may have got around him, but still, Larry Ward reached over and was fiddling with his hand. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but it looked like something he had to do. He looked around like, well, I got to do it sometime, and that enabled Bradshaw to get around.
Albertine putting the pressure on Swink. This is the battle for 2nd place. Albertine tries the inside. He's got good leverage, and it's Greg Albertine in 2nd place.
Smart move. Look at Swink, wide open back around the outside. Almost gets him back. Not a good battle. You can hear the crowd. And it's amazing. These guys are in a great battle. They're going and pulling out all the stops. They're still losing time to the leader.
Oh, Bradshaw. Lots of speed down the hill, but here comes LaRocco. Mike LaRocco stumbling just a little bit, but he's got the edge.
Big Campbell coming down the inside, going through the middle of those braking bumps. He's got the strength to pull that off. Mike doesn't necessarily ride the smoothest line. He just rides the fastest line. Whatever he's got to do to get there quicker, and it worked that time.
They've been trying to work out their... Oh, and look at here. Greg Albertine's bike has just quit on him.
I guess that's what we could assume anyway. I don't see any other reason why he would be stopped like that. He's got his goggles off, pushing the bike, so obviously it's not running. What a disappointment. It looked like he was going to be able to challenge Jeremy.
Emig and Brian Swink in a bar-to-bar battle. Emig, he makes the move. Jeremy McGrath, the last pit board as he stands up. He takes the checkers for his 6th consecutive National Moto win. Here in the first moto at Hangtown, he made it look easy. Jeremy McGrath keeps his perfect record alive now here at Motocross. Jeff Emig cutting 6 seconds off his lead, but it took him a long time to get into 2nd place. A breeze for McGrath.
Albertine all the way on the inside. I told you you'd have to line up last with that DNF. DNF, of course, means did not finish, so he's going to have to get an incredible jump off the gate and not get stuck in that first corner.
Okay, getting set for the big cavalry charge of 40 bikes coming down to that small aperture in turn 1. Phil Lawrence, number 13, gets the whole shot, breaking into the lead. Fellow independent team riders Swank and Lewis also in front of McGrath. McGrath in fourth position, you can tell, and he'll put on a big charge, I'm sure, in this first lap.
He's so clever in that first lap. When he doesn't get a good start, he still turns it into one, because by the end of the first lap, he catches everybody by surprise, makes all those passes. But Phil Lawrence, who went down the first moto, rode good despite having gone down. Now he's got a real opportunity, as does Swank. Third in that first moto, riding good here, ahead of McGrath.
Here goes Jeremy to the inside. Good clean pass on Brian Swank, and in 3 laps now, he's moved from fourth to second. Lawrence riding with pain with that hurt hand. He and his mechanic going to high school together in Beaumont, California. He had good lap times in practice against Jeremy McGrath, was only a second behind Jeremy. But right now with that hand injury, he's just trying to hold on.
Jeremy continuing to pick different lines and keep Lawrence guessing. Right there, look at that.
Oh, got a little bump on him on the way by.
Jeremy set that up going in, already clears his vision. Now it's all up to him. Already in the first, I mean, a lot of the guys were talking about how it's kind of tough to pass out there. LaRocco was saying it's tough to make up time. Even Jeremy, after the first moto, said it's kind of one line. Look at this. He moves by everybody in the first like 7-8 minutes of the race, already in the lead.
Let's check out first place. Here's Jeremy McGrath. Oh, Jeremy falls down.
Unbelievable.
He's human?
Yeah, a little bit. That'll probably be in the record book someday too. Jeremy fell once.
You see the huge lead he had, though. Kyle Lewis, number 11. A good steady race for him.
And I'm impressed with Lawrence. I mean, he's still holding on to second. He's got all the pressure he can handle. Lewis getting way out of shape coming down that downhill. That allows Albertine to get around.
So Swank, Albertine, Lewis, and LaRocco now the order. Albertine, he wants a piece of it after having the mechanical in the first moto. Albertine, he moves by Swank into third place.
You know, I pointed out the fact that these guys would get tired. Well, Albertine only rode about 4 or 5 laps of the first moto, so although he had to start in kind of a crummy place and he wasn't really aware of what the track had turned into during that moto, he's got to be the freshest of all these guys out there.
Here's Phil Lawrence still in second place, but now he's getting hounded by Greg Albertine. The two have pulled a little bit of a lead on Mike LaRocco. Of course, Jeremy McGrath is way out in front as Albertine gets to the inside on Lawrence, and Greg Albertine is on his way to his best motocross finish.
Great pass up the inside. He planned that coming out of the mechanics area, and he's already opened up a little lead. Kind of a wounded Phil Lawrence in his defense, you know, and he's held off everybody this whole entire race. And Albertine, compared to Emig in terms of starts, Albertine was further back in the first lap than Emig was. So Emig needs to get the beginning of that race dialed in.
And zooming by Kyle Lewis is number 2, Jeff Emig.
Lawrence holding off the whole pack for most of the race, but now starting to get a little tired, riding in pain. Emig going down, front end washed out, having his problems today. You can take a picture of Jeremy anywhere around the racetrack and stop it, and it'll look like he's in a big hurry, and that's how you go fast.
Jeff Emig now getting back up toward Phil Lawrence to put more pressure on. He still has some time to pass him.
Well, he fell and caught him already this quick, so he's obviously faster. Just a matter of you know, not falling again and having enough time, and I think he's got the time.
Interesting to see where he picks his opportunity, really. Once he gets close enough, here's the finish line jump. This is a popular area, and he takes to the inside, and he moves into fourth place, Jeff Emig. Jeremy McGrath will run through that mechanics area, and I can see the smile on Skip Norfolk's face right now. He's always grinning, that guy.
He's got a lot to grin about. So does everybody else at Honda. Wes McCoy, Cliff White, all the guys who do the work.
The checkered flag for the second time today for Jeremy McGrath. Greg Albertine will take second. Good finish for Mike LaRocco. Emig and Lawrence finishing out the top 5. The 30-second board is up now for moto number 1 of the 250s. Time to get serious. There you see number 2, Emig. Bright new green uniform. 103, Jeff Matazovic, who just came back from the Japanese National Supercross Series. He's done that the last 2 seasons. Sideways, gate ready to drop at any moment now as we're looking at Jeremy McGrath's machine. He rips the throttle open and gets the great start. Oh my goodness, Jeremy McGrath, a clean hole shot. Oh, in turn 2, Emig and Lawrence. Emig, whoops, sorry sir. Emig having trouble getting back on the track. And oh, there's, it looks like Taylor. There was some question coming into this first moto about McGrath's knee. Oh, and McGrath spins down. Albertine is in first place. What a development.
Listen to the crowd, too. They love it. They want to see a challenge. Everyone, I don't think people want to see Jeremy get beat, but they do want to see him have to push hard to win the race.
At the top of the horseshoe, Jeremy washed out a bit, stayed up, kept the motor running, and Greg Albertine is now our new leader. Here he goes, Jeff Emig on the move, trying to pass Kyle Lewis, number 11, as the inside shot, good clean pass. Lewis trying to coattail him though, but Swank, in all, to give him full credit, he's had the flu all week long, and to fade here toward the race's end might be expected.
Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. It's tough to race out here when you're healthy, and have a sickness like that all week. In one way, you could look at it and think that he might be fresh, but I've been sick before, and it's no fun to try to ride like that.
Ryan Emig in pretty good position, though. And going down is Greg Albertine. Unbelievable. He had a sizable lead on Jeremy McGrath, and he gave Jeremy McGrath on a silver platter the lead here in Moto number 1.
I don't believe it. It's almost time to get the training wheels out for Greg Albertine. I talked to him before this race, in fact, and he's so determined, and is so willing to learn and to try anything, and he's not going to give up until he's able to win. He's so determined, but maybe in some cases a little bit too determined, and it's hard to tell why he went down there. It just seemed kind of like a little bit of a brain fade, and front end just washed out.
Jeremy McGrath, just an incredible, incredible story. And even the fans that know nothing about motorcycle racing now know the name of Jeremy McGrath for his domination of the sport.
13 in a row in the indoors, 5 in a row so far outdoors. It looks like that could be as many as 13, maybe more by the end of the season.
And of course, he won the last 5 straight motos last year in this series. So if you want to go back to last year, it's even more impressive. The checkered flag, moto number 1, the winner, Jeremy McGrath. Okay, the 32nd board up. And the riders now, it's getting nervous time, except for those who are confident they can win the race, of course. Kyle Lewis, number 11. There's Emig 2. Jimmy Button, 100. Bradshaw, 28. McGrath. 103 is Matazovic. I mentioned earlier, he races in Japan most of the year, comes back for his selected races. And we're about set to go for our second moto in this hot and dusty land of San Bernardino. Emig with a pretty good start. Doug Henry, Phil Lawrence, and Emig all with good starts, but it's Jeremy McGrath once again with the whole shot into the first turn. Somebody goes down there in the back of the pack as we go to the front of the pack now. Jeremy. 15 is Doug Henry, former teammates. 13, Phil Lawrence. There's Greg Albertine, and Albertine goes down.
I don't believe it.
In the first turn, Albertine is down.
Takes out his teammate, number 8, Rocco. Had nowhere to go, ran into the back of his bike. I don't know if he did any damage to it, but there goes Team Suzuki. Right now, Bradshaw has apparently done the right things between motos because he's on fire right now. Look at that.
He is on fire. Coming down that big downhill jump, Damon Bradshaw is now passing Kyle Lewis in a good bar-to-bar battle. Here's the pass by LaRocco into 6th.
I think he's riding like Emig did in the first moto. You just go down in the first lap like that, and you're so mad. You just get up and ride without anything to lose, and a lot of times you ride better than you do when you get a good start. You don't ride as nervous.
It looks like Albertine's given up the ghost.
Greg, this looks like a real mess. What happened?
As I came out of one of the turns, one of the slower riders that I was passing kind of came over a little bit on me and pushed me a bit wide, and that was it. I went into the bannering or whatever, and that was it, and it's stuck in my wheel. Doesn't look like I can get it out. And then I had a really good start, and then Phil Lawrence screwed up in this one turn and caused me to go down. But that's racing. I ain't going to give up, man. I'm going to beat these guys.
I wonder if Jeremy ever gets bored. You know, you gotta wonder. I mean, people are already heading for the cars. The traffic jam's starting to accumulate, and they know there's no way in the world anyone's going to beat this guy. I mean, look at the lead he's got. And it's just about every week, you know. And it's not his fault that he's doing his job a little better than everyone else, but occasionally, especially for us up here, it's like, what the heck else are we going to say about this guy that we haven't already said?
Well, there's no doubt about it. He'd probably win on another machine, but would he win as much and as consistent without Skip Norfolk, without Wes McCoy, without the tremendous support that Jeremy McGrath gets on him?
That's a good point, and I think it's doubtful. I've said a million times that I don't think it's necessarily the bike that makes Honda so dominant, and I think they've won a title every year since 1982. It's the team and the experience that all those guys have at winning titles ever since 1982. I mean, that's a long time to keep winning championships, and obviously a good combination and a good motorcycle, and they seem to get lucky when they pick their riders. They pick them carefully, and the guys do the job for them.
A checkered flag for the second time of the afternoon. Jeremy McGrath keeps his perfect record alive. He's 6 out of 6 in the 1996 season. Jeff Emig coming across in second place. The cool head and the conditioning of Jeremy McGrath pays off once again here in Moto 2.
Welcome back to High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania on a rainy Memorial Day afternoon. Bob Varsha and David Bailey with you for the first of 2 rounds of 250cc National Championship Motocross action. There's the phenomenon of the sport thus far. 4-time Supercross champion and reigning 250 outdoor titleist Jeremy McGrath going for his 7th and 8th straight moto victories and 4th straight overall here today. Here's a look at our standings coming into this race. Jeremy McGrath, perfect so far this year, 150 points. We're getting used to seeing that with the Showtime phenomenon. Jeff Emig in second place is the man who stopped McGrath's winning streak in Supercross at 13 straight events. He'll be hoping to end another streak here today in the outdoor. On bike number 1 is McGrath. The gate is down and we are away. McGrath with a good start on the red Honda.
He gets pushed wide. Number 16, Greg Albertine. Mike Jones is the local, number 49, a privateer. But Albertine just muscled his way around Jeremy, kind of pushed him so wide he allowed Mike Jones to sneak into second. Larry Ward dancing around quite a bit coming down that downhill. Wasn't able to do that double jump right there. Swink and Emig over it clean. They'll make up some time. You see all the mud flying. That's flying in their face as well, so vision is really important, especially back here in a battle like this. If Emig can't get around these two very quick, well, he disposes of Swink. That's the same place Swink got passed by LaRocco.
Your boys moved into third. It's set up for him to go after McGrath and Albertine. How bad does he need this moto win?
He needs this moto win really bad for his confidence and for Suzuki's confidence. I think we're in a position we can still get it. We're only about 8-9 seconds back. We got plenty of time.
Well, he doesn't need a lot of time because Mike LaRocco has already closed up onto the rear wheel of Jeremy McGrath for second place.
Crowd really enjoying it too. It's not that often that they get to see Jeremy really having to fight for a position. And he's in a Suzuki sandwich right now. Albertine out front, LaRocco coming up from behind. And as Mike's dad pointed out, Mike doesn't only need this win for his own confidence, but for the team. If Team Suzuki can pull off an upset here, I guess you could call it, by going 1-2, that'd really boost the whole team and prove to everyone that the bike is capable of winning. And that does a lot for the rider's confidence.
Mike LaRocco, bike number 8, is on a charge, powering past reigning national champ Jeremy McGrath for second. And Henry is around for third place, dropping the reigning champ to fourth. Whatever his mechanic, Pete Steinbrecher, told Doug Henry, it certainly worked. Doug Henry on the blue Yamaha, number 15, runs in third.
there's ruts in the faces of all those jumps coming down the straightaway, and it looked like Emig had a run on Jeremy, and then got stuck in the ruts. There he comes again.
And Emig gets by, however briefly. Now looks like he's knocked it down. 4th place for Emig, dropping the national champ back to 5th. There's Greg Albertine. Rocco not far behind at all.
Wasn't long ago when he won as many outdoor races as Jeremy wins, and starting to look like Mike LaRocco again. Charging from, I guess, about as far back as 6th place at one time. He passed everybody, earned this spot. Now he's really starting to gain on Albertine, and there's time enough for him to pass him for the lead.
20,000 motocross fans watching their heroes in action in some decidedly compromising conditions. Rain continues to fall. Albertine up out of the saddle, taking those jumps in style. Greg Albertine from South Africa picks up the Moto1 victory here at Mount Morris. Fists in the air as he passes the Suzuki service vehicle. There's James Dobb, an Englishman, giving his South African teammate a hug. He rides in the 125 series for Suzuki. Here are our Moto1 results. Albertine and LaRocco with a Suzuki 1-2, then Emig, Henry, and Jeremy McGrath. To get up front, they'll have to get a good start. In these conditions, you don't want to wait, as Jeremy McGrath found out in Moto1. The gate is down, we are away. Doug Henry on number 15. The field funneling into turn number 1. Jeremy McGrath with a great start. There you see him on the red number 1 bike, and he's got all of the early leaders from Moto1 right there with him.
All the contenders have gotten great starts. Emig looked like he had the whole shot, and Jeremy rode right around the outside of him. Now here comes Emig.
Riding that back wheel, number 2. Jeff Emig takes the lead. Doug Henry right there. He too goes around Jeremy McGrath, who bobbled coming down the hill, and Michael Rocco on the wide line looking for a way past as well.
Also, it looked like Albertine hugged that inside, may have slipped into the 4 spots. The 2 Suzuki teammates, first and second in the first moto, are right there within striking distance of the lead. Now the Suzuki guy's really starting to pour it on.
Rocco goes by Henry for second. Can Henry respond? Oh, and Albertine is down.
Looked like Albertine tried to go for both those guys on the inside, paid the price. We'll see just to the very, very right of the screen. Albertine looked like he had the pass on both of them, or at least was going for it, but it's even more off camber right there against the grass. No traction at all, and the bike just slipped out from underneath him.
It's Jeff Emig, the race leader on the Kawasaki number 2. Slower rider getting out of the way to let the leaders through. Emig, LaRocco, and McGrath nose to tail.
This huge crowd's going to get their money's worth now, I can tell you that. These guys are going to fight for it, that's for sure.
All 3 of these guys with a shot at the overall, but McGrath has to get ahead of them and get some help from slower riders or perhaps someone else. Moving up from behind, contact, and Emig is off the course.
Wow, LaRocco got in there and just punted Emig. It looked like Emig grabbed a handful of gas. And see if we get another look. Yeah, Emig grabbed a handful of throttle. That caught him by surprise. He didn't expect to see LaRocco coming up the inside. He was already on the inside, but LaRocco did a good job to set that up, and now here comes Jeremy.
Two-way battle for the lead between LaRocco and McGrath. You see Emig held on to 3rd place. Fortunately, didn't get tangled in that tape along the edge of the course. And now McGrath gets a little bit wide and LaRocco able to pull away. And now he has LaRocco behind him.
Jeremy got a strong drive out of the corner at the bottom of the hill and just shifted up a gear, made the move on LaRocco. That's where he was losing time in the first moto. Coming out of all those corners, he was getting a lot of wheel spin. He made some changes to the motorcycle, probably, maybe a tire, or else Jeremy just changed his lines, but it's working now.
Meanwhile, this is LaRocco and Albertine now fighting over 3rd. Albertine, very quick in that corner, getting the front wheel up in the air. Sharp left-hander as he consolidates 3rd place from his teammate LaRocco.
He almost gave it back by dropping out wide there again, but got in a little battle to see who was going to let off first, and it was LaRocco who had to.
You can bet Suzuki team manager Roger DeCoster is watching this battle with some interest.
Definitely, and this is the part that scares me about Albertine. As he came into that corner just back to that right-hander, his front end washed out, and then he made a little bobble there. He's already in an overall position. Now he's in a knockdown, drag-out battle with his teammate. It's unnecessary. This is where he usually makes mistakes and goes down. He's already in overall position, so just take it easy. Roger's keeping his fingers crossed, going, don't make any bad moves. Don't do anything stupid. We're finally going to win one. Don't throw it away.
Look at the gap that Albertine has now opened up over Morocco.
A little sideways right there. It's funny to watch Albertine. He'll do a lot of things good, and then,
Oh, he comes right off the saddle. Lost the grip with his left hand and was just pitched off the back of the bike in a rut. Well, with no one behind him but a lapped rider, little twist of the front wheel for the fans. To the checkered flag comes Jeremy McGrath. You heard him say earlier, you have to put together two good motos at Mount Morris. He wasn't able to do it, but he looks back to see if Jeff Emig is second. Emig is, and with it, he takes the overall victory.
Time for the main event from Budds Creek. The 250s are next. Jeremy McGrath, the points leader. The 40-rider field getting ready for our opening moto. Mike Larocco also with an impressive performance, taking a second at Mount Morris with a 2-3. Emig surprised he could take the overall with a 3-2. And they're off for the first moto. Number 2, Jeff Emig. Oh, what a start he got on the field. He's got the whole shot. You got 11, Kyle Lewis. You got Jeremy McGrath in good position, though. Of course, Albertine, a big shot in the arm in the last race at Mount Morris. His first win in 2 years in the opening moto. Of course, it's old hat to number 1, who has 7 moto wins on this young season. Jeremy McGrath making his move. Oh, what a gutsy move on Emig. Emig tried to come back. Jeremy shut him off.
Jeremy was so brilliant. He went into that corner, went around the outside, just gassed it. Here it is again, right there. He just grabs a handful, knows that's going to put him on the inside going into this corner. Completely catches Emig by surprise, and Emig tries to retaliate.
Tried to come up over the track.
If he'd have kept it wide open, that could have got ugly right there, but I think he played it smart and just tried to keep it on 2 wheels and then off camber and hold off Albertine.
Albertine in good position as he closes up on third. The multi-champion handles pressure as well as any athlete we've ever covered. Jeremy McGrath as he heads toward victory here in Moto 1 on the last lap. Great shot as he roosts a lapper.
He just floats around the racetrack. Look at that line right there. He's using up that smooth inside. Then he pops back over to the right so he can get a nice arc into that berm.
Up over the bars. He uses the side of the hill to get away from the bumps.
Great balance through the berms and stuff. Look at how he jumps out of that berm a little early, so he misses those bumps coming over the crest of that hill. It just, all his lines come together so well. The other guys hit extra bumps out there on the racetrack that give him problems.
Emig evidently giving it all he's got, but it's just not enough to catch Jeremy McGrath here at Budds Creek.
I think there's a chance, too, that Jeremy has been riding a pace that he felt like he could maintain and not let Emig get in there and really show him a wheel anywhere. Then in the last lap, throw in a little bit extra just to demoralize him, and it seems like he's done that. He's got a little bit more of a lead than he had the lap before.
Jeremy McGrath cutting through the mechanics area. Skip Norfolk still holding his breath a little bit with Emig that close. Jeremy McGrath to the finish line jump. So Jeremy McGrath has now made it 8 out of 9 moto wins on the young season, with Emig taking another second place. Albertine, though, a very credible third as we look at the bottom 5 of the top 10. All 40 strong without Damon Bradshaw, who's still out with the injury. They hope he can come back in the next event at Southwick. Now, let's see who gets the whole shot. Will it be Jeremy McGrath or, again, number 2? Oh, my goodness, Emig with another great start, but Jeremy's right there. You see 13 is Phil Lawrence, and a host of other riders going through that first turn.
Already, Jeremy down the inside, cuts him right off.
Here comes Emig back again. Can he hold on? Emig on the outside. Jeremy's got the edge. And Jeremy McGrath, once again, early in the race, taking over the lead. Albertine moving up on Phil Lawrence and then Doug Henry. Henry 15, Lawrence 13. Lawrence with a little bobble on the turn there. That allows Albertine to cinch it up a little bit more, looking for a way to get around Phil Lawrence and then be the next guy to take on Doug Henry. Oh, the inside line, perfect move for Albertine. Not only beating his opponents, but beating the track, and the heat and humidity.
And I'll tell you what, at the end of this race, he's really not having to dig very deep. I mean, he's probably, the breeze feels nice as he comes out of some of those shaded areas, and he's not really having to put a lot of effort into this. He's just loving every minute of it and knows that he can put a few more points on his points lead, making that championship for 96 look even more possible.
And a very knowledgeable and generous motocross crowd. Skip Norfolk, you saw him there.
Couldn't read what he had on the board, but why put anything? Basically just looking at him going by, and a smile says it all.
Looked like a private code as he put up his fist there in the air. The checkers and the neck for Jeremy McGrath. It is the 6th round of the AMA National Series in Southwick, Massachusetts. We're getting ready for the 250s to get on the track. Damon Bradshaw is coming back after missing 2 national events with injuries. Mike LaRocco, number 8. Number 5 was Hughes, and you see Jeremy McGrath's helmet there. What a caricature.
Little neck cartoon guy on the back.
And of course, as you see the series standings, he's that far ahead of Jeff Emig, the number 2 rider in the points. There's a lot of riders having a chance to get a good look at that caricature. We're getting set now for the start of Moto 1 as they start revving up. Jimmy Button, number 100. Let's see who gets out in front first. Usually it's Jeremy. Jeremy gets the great start in the whole shot. Jeremy McGrath. He goes wide, though, and down in the first turn is Mike LaRocco. It's McGrath out in front. Damon Bradshaw in second. Ryan Hughes in third, getting stronger and stronger with each appearance on the bike since he came back from that broken jaw that he suffered at the Supercross in Charlotte. Damon Bradshaw is coming back after missing 2 nationals because of injury, and he was really on a roll before he got injured.
He sure looked good, and Glenn Helen, he was starting to pick up the pace, and he's still having to come from behind quite a bit. Today he's got a real opportunity here to take a look at Jeremy. He really hasn't gotten to see him. Even when he was out there, he really never had a chance to battle with Jeremy, but right here he's going to get that opportunity. But before he does get an opportunity to really focus on Jeremy, he's got a lot of pressure from Ryan Hughes right now. That'll be on his mind as well.
Right now you're looking at Damon Bradshaw, who is just hounding Jeremy McGrath.
He's riding good right now. His balance is right on as he came down the downhill around that right-hand berm. He went around the berm, the whole thing with his feet on the pegs. That takes incredible balance, so Bradshaw is on today.
Oh, Albertine hits the beach. He was right behind Ward and Emig. There goes Swink 23 and back of Button. Lawrence also getting in front of number 16. The Team Suzuki now trying to be restarted, gets back up and underway. Bad break for Albertine. Jeremy McGrath acknowledging the fans as he comes around to the final turn before spotting that checkered flag. Jeremy McGrath, the wheelie, and another victory for the tremendous champion. While Jeremy pulls into the interview area, Damon Bradshaw will be coming over for second place. Here's the only battle left. Jeff Emig tried to cut in front. Whoa, a foot off the peg now for Henry. Oh, and Emig goes down. Well, that's been a dangerous area all day long. We've seen at least a half-dozen riders go down right before that double.
Lawrence is going to go by as well, pick up that spot he lost a little earlier, so it was just an aggressive move for Emig to try to get around Doug Henry. Henry took a wild line to the outside, and their lines just came together.
So Henry nails down 4th behind Ryan Hughes. Phil Lawrence will move into the 5th spot. And once again, we'll see if Jeremy gets the whole shot. He got the whole shot of the first moto. The gate is dropped, and Emig with a pretty good start. Swink with a good start. Jeremy McGrath is right there, number 1 out in front. Whoa, Emig jumps in front of him. Hughes with a good start as well is right next to Jeremy McGrath out front.
Looked like Jeff went out of his way to make sure he cut across in front of Jeremy. Just did it again right there, and Jeremy hates that. I can tell you, he hates it. And that'll motivate him to get around Emig and just run away and hide.
Emig, McGrath in that order. And Swink is in 3rd, number 23. Hughes is in 4th, number 5. Jeremy McGrath, side by side. Who gives way? Jeremy gets the best line through the squeeze.
Well, he positioned that way back coming out of the mechanics area corner. He just put himself to the inside and stayed there all the way down the straightaway through the corner. Knew eventually when they got to that squeeze, if he was close enough, he'd have the line, and it worked out.
Used to be said Jeremy would win because he gets out in front and nobody can catch him. But right there, I think he showed his toughness.
I think so too. I mean, this is one of the roughest tracks of the season, and the way he hopped over that bump right there, I mean, he's just saving himself so much energy by riding smarter lines. Emig, you can see, I mean, that's a berm he's riding through. This berm is turned into like the Talladega banking just about. And throughout the day, it gets so high, and they jump over these holes through the berms. Getting a lot of cheers from the crowd. Looks like he's going to put together another sweep.
Well, it's incredible. Not only the Supercross record, but it appears he's even going to greater heights in the sport, the tougher sport of motocross. A tired Jeremy McGrath, I'm sure, even though it was an easy victory, as he comes over Skip Norfolk, his mechanic, probably walking to the interview area to hold up his bike, because I know Jeremy will be winded. McGrath, the sweep on the afternoon as we take a look at the Moto2 results. Larocco a third, Albertine into fourth. Bradshaw disappointing 10th after the second in the first moto. Almost 20,000 fans have flocked to the latest round of motocross action to witness the rivalry of the 90s.
Sign is sideways. Jeremy's coming off a couple of hole shots at Southwick, but Emig has to be the hole shot king so far this series.
Both Emig and McGrath off to good starts. It looks like Emig will get the hole shot. Yes, he does. Oh! End over end, Greg Albertine. His bike ran over Phil Lawrence. You see Phil Lawrence down on the track right there. I believe it's someone on the inside that's down. Could be Doug Henry. Ryan Hughes is part of a 7-rider melee here. McGrath hounding Emig for the lead here in the early going of Moto number 1. And Jeremy McGrath gets by Jeff Emig fairly easy.
Well, he does that triple. He came out of the corner. They came out with the same amount of speed, but Jeremy's jumping ability just a little bit better. Got all the way over that triple clean.
Here comes Damon. He's got a good angle, does a little wheelie. Comes into that corner pretty fast. Can he hold on to it? Larry Ward giving him a real bar-to-bar battle, but Damon is not giving in.
That's a good line by Damon as he went over the jump. Coming down to that corner, he knew he had the room on the inside. Charged in there, had to wheelie over one of those braking bumps. Good idea, so he could get back into braking. Larry Ward gave him a little challenge, but Damon had the inside line.
Jeremy McGrath on his way to his 12th moto victory. There has not been an event this year that he hasn't won at least one moto in. And a tremendous number of sweeps, as you well know. The checkered flag for Jeremy McGrath. How many times have we said that this year? I never get tired of it, really. Jeremy McGrath, Jeff Emig, Brian Swink, a nice job of holding on to third. Mike Larocco up to fourth. Really proved how a well-conditioned body, how durable it can be. McGrath starting right next to Greg Albertine as the gate dropped. And Jeff Emig, another great start. His second hole shot, in fact. Jeremy's start, not all that great. Number 48 is Rich Taylor. Then it's Ward, Lewis, all in front of number 1.
Riding a little bit over your head maybe, or at least a little bit desperate. Those are the kind of mistakes that you can make.
Lewis doubling, McGrath tripling, and still Lewis comes out in front.
Now Emig is going to get the pit board if he doesn't already know that Jeremy is coming, and that'll make him nervous.
Checking it out, Jeremy McGrath coming over the jump. Larry Ward behind him. It's apparent that Emig really only has about a 5-second lead.
And that's not enough. You need about a 20-second lead with 1 lap to go to really feel sure of anything when you got McGrath behind you. And, you know, Emig has ridden fantastic, but still, Jeremy's just too close with the time remaining.
On the inside, look at Greg Albertine. Bumping Swink. Swink comes right back, retaliates. They both go off the track. They're not even in the top 5, but they're having a bar-banging affair. I think this goes back to a race before.
Well, this may be something these guys have been carrying. You're right, Art. And Albertine went in there and took Swink all the way out to the bushes. Swink didn't appreciate it, and he made sure to get around Albertine at the bottom of that hill. He went completely off the racetrack. And now Albertine will think twice about how he passes Swink back if he can.
In the case of breaking McGrath's streak in St. Louis, it was a matter of just focusing ahead and not losing his concentration. Oh, something's happened to McGrath. McGrath is down. It might have gotten crossed up in the ruts. You can tell how popular Emig is here because the fans erupted.
Now the fans love it. Here comes Mike LaRocco on the outside. Boy, he's got a wounded Jeremy McGrath right in front of him, and he might just go after him. It's so tough to recover as soon as you get up. Now he's got LaRocco breathing down his neck.
Mike LaRocco, this is his home track. He smells a 2nd place finish.
I'll talk about the fans getting excited for Emig. They're even more excited now with their hometown boy LaRocco moving around McGrath. McGrath going for it.
This will be a spirited duel. Oh, LaRocco with the speed on the corners. But what will happen during the jumps? That's the big question.
Usually coming into that corner right there, Jeremy's already made the pass. There it is, LaRocco's leap. He better leap. Jeremy over the top of his head.
LaRocco doubling. McGrath tripling. Jeremy's just fighting all he can, making new lines, but LaRocco is holding on to 2nd place.
And he drifted a little wide right there. Jeremy is just ready to take it away from him. If LaRocco makes any mistake, leaves the door even partially open, Jeremy's going to take it.
Just listen to the crowd. Oh, what a finishing lap this has been. Emig the checkered flag. Here's LaRocco, then Jeremy McGrath, all within 2 seconds of one another. Jeff Emig winning his first moto, breaking the string once again, and the rivalry lives on. Welcome, everyone, to the 8th round of the AMA 250 Motocross Series. We scan the pits before our opening moto, Unadilla, New York. Despite 5 overall wins and 12 moto wins on the season, Jeremy McGrath with only a 40-point lead over Jeff Emig. Making things interesting still as Doug Henry gets all nervous and ready at the starting line.
Trying to get himself pumped up. It takes so much motivation to try to get off the line. You sit around in the pits quietly, then you got to go to work.
Revving up, ready for the gate to drop here at Unadilla. It's a fast start. And Jeff Emig is looking pretty good. Hughes, Lewis, Amaradio, Henry, Ward, all in that front pack. Jeremy McGrath with not a very good start. Kyle Cohen and Bradshaw LaRocco were in front even of Jeremy McGrath on this start. This has been an interesting comparison all season long, even during the Supercross season. The youngster Ryan Hughes makes the move on the inside on Jeff Emig and takes over the lead here in the 250 Moto number 1.
I talked with Ryan. He loves this racetrack. A little sideways there, but that's expected. They water the track. These guys don't know it. They got a parade lap, but now they're at full speed, and he did a nice job to hang on. Look, he's already got a little lead now.
Oh, Greg Albertine down just before the gravity cavity.
Hughes, this is his track. He loves this place. He's won here back-to-back in the 125, and I think he feels like he owns this race, but Emig isn't going to make it easy for him.
Coming out of the gravity cavity and wheeling around, our leader, Ryan Hughes. Can he hold off his own teammate, Jeff Emig? Emig cutting to the inside. It'll be the clean pass between teammates. And Greg Albertine has passed Henry Bradshaw. And of course, Jeremy McGrath, who went down. Albertine is right behind his teammate LaRocco in 5th place. Closing in on number 11 right there, Kyle Lewis.
So what a performance, as you mentioned. He's got 3rd and 4th right in front of him. And the pace in which he caught these guys leads me to believe he's going to get around them. This is his style of racetrack, and it's really starting to show.
The question right now is Albertine cuts to the inside of LaRocco. Can he stay upright? LaRocco coming right back, bar to bar between teammates.
Almost clipped that lapper as he went by. Got around his teammate, no problem, on the inside. There you get a glimpse of Henry and Bradshaw. They're having their own little battle. This is that new section. They took out the switchback and let him run wide open. Look at the speed they get all the way over that plateau.
Albertine edging into 3rd against Lewis. Now can he catch up? With Ryan Hughes in 2nd place. Greg Albertine running one of his finest races of the outdoor season.
And he just shot through that berm. That's the kind of momentum you need. Then he pre-jumps that uphill. He's doing everything right today.
Albertine, number 16, to the inside. Hughes giving him lots of room. Comes back with the throttle. But can Albertine, on that inside turn, take the advantage permanently? Goes wide. Oh, Hughes hanging right with him.
Talk about two fighters, boy. These are the guys right here. Albertine is so fast. And I think the difference, I mean, he's faster than Jeremy a lot of times, but I think the difference between he and Jeremy is McGrath learned how to win. And there's times where Jeremy's actually the slowest through sections, places where he knows he can cruise and still pick up the win. I think Albertine is so anxious. He's trying so hard everywhere that he pushes too hard in places sometimes where he doesn't need to. Once he gets that worked out, he'll be winning some races.
The checkers are in sight for Jeff Emig. This would be 2 moto wins in a row. Starting with consistency as the #1 placement. Oh, he's got to feel great. Jeff Emig, Greg Albertine, and Ryan Hughes, the top 3. A determined look in the eyes of Jeremy McGrath after that 4th place finish in the opening moto. He still does have an outside chance for the overall should anyone else mess up, and he be right at the right place at the right time. The gate is down, and Emig, another great start for Jeff Emig. Behind him, Lewis, Ward, and Hughes. What a tight group on that first turn as Emig is in the lead. There's Lewis, number 11, Hughes, number 5, Larry Ward, number 6, and then Jeremy McGrath.
A lot of banging going on right there. Lewis, another great start. Larry Ward up in there. Albertine, who rode so strong in that first moto, is about 9th or 10th right now.
Larry Ward putting the heat to Kyle Lewis, who's in 2nd place behind Jeff Emig, and Jeremy McGrath has moved into 4th in front of Ryan Hughes. So Emig now with the advantage. There's Lewis number, oh my goodness, Emig goes down. Lewis goes flying over Emig's bike. We've got a new leader. Jeff Emig going down, a very bad break. It looked like it was a little slick where they watered the track. You know an interesting fact right now, David? Jeremy McGrath has not been in the lead 1 lap all afternoon.
Well, that's not only interesting, Art, but it's pretty amazing, really. And the guy has won in just about every stop on the circuit, both indoor and outdoor, except this place. And it's still, he's going to have to earn it. And even if he wins this moto, it doesn't look like the overall is going to go his.
Oh, Bradshaw! Bradshaw got caught in that very difficult area. It looked like he might have been clipped by a rider coming by.
That's a tough section. You're constantly making that right-hand corner, and once you leave the ground, that big hole there, the back end swaps out, you land in it, and it wants to bounce back the other way, and it caught Bradshaw by surprise.
Look at this, number 16, Greg Albertine has now moved into 3rd place in front of Ryan Hughes, and he's not that far away from the leaders. Greg Albertine now attacking Larry Ward.
Forced to follow him up that hill, but he made a run at him on the inside. Given the blue flag with that stripe through it, that means for the lappers, the leaders are coming around, so get out of the way.
I think it's interesting that these 3 riders are pretty close to one another. Jeremy McGrath is our leader with Larry Ward and Greg Albertine battling it out amongst the lappers. Jeremy McGrath now can see the checkers in sight for his 13th moto win in 16 motos this year. Here comes Greg Albertine on a slow trot. about 2 or 3 seconds behind him. What a great feeling this has got to be for the Suzuki camp and Greg Albertine. His very first overall in the national circuit here in America. Coming up and congratulated by James Dobb, an Englishman. Jeremy McGrath, though, winning Moto number 2. Welcome back to Kenworthy Motocross Park in Troy, Ohio. Jeremy McGrath, despite 5 overall wins and dominating each moto, has only a 47-point lead on Jeff Emig. Emig's real nemesis was that 8th place moto finish at Unadilla, David.
That was unfortunate. Sign is sideways. This guy's about ready to go.
And they're off for Moto 1 to the 250s underway. Let's see who hooks up the best. It's Jeff Emig out in front, number 2. John Sebastian Roy is also up there near 2nd place.
This is one of the faster starts of the season. Jeremy gets a little cross-rutted, almost goes down right there.
In 2nd place now, Greg Albertine of Team Suzuki, right behind Emig. Our first 250 moto of the afternoon from Kenworthy's Motocross Park, and Jeremy McGrath having a little bit of trouble with that particular tight turn. But look at Jeff Emig has picked up some streamers, the flags.
Looked like he got him around that right-hander coming out of the woods there. He drifted a little wide. That's actually a good line out there, but picked up the banners. So now maybe he's not going to have a rear brake here pretty quick. Typically.
Look at Albertine. He doesn't know whether to ride on it and take him out of it maybe, or miss it.
Well, it's going to mess up his concentration, that's for sure. You know what happens when somebody yanks the carpet out from underneath you. That's what could happen to Albertine. Well, Albertine knows how many times Jeremy has caught it past him, so that's going to be in his memory. However, lately, he's been running about the same pace. So I think the odds are in Jeremy's favor to probably work his way around Albertine, but I don't know. It depends on how bad he wants it. Oh, a little mistake right there is all it took.
And a nice jump for Jeremy, making a clean pass of it as he picks the rut to drive through. Jeremy McGrath now in 2nd place. A final lap right now. And Jeremy's just been unable to really challenge him, actually.
Well, Emig has done well enough this season by finishing 2nd so much. There you go. It's like a little half knack there, not quite a full. But if he's able to hold on to this moto win right here, this would be the 3rd week in a row, or 3rd race in a row where he's been able to win a moto. He's got 2 overalls on the season, and he could be heading for another one here today. So Emig really starting to look good, and the confidence coming with it.
I think the big thing, David, is he's been able to, once he gets out in front now, he knows that he can stay out there and focus ahead, not worry about Jeremy McGrath, which was the case maybe last year and the beginning of this year. But Jeff Emig, extremely popular with the motocross fans.
He does a lot to make sure of that. He does a lot of showing off, and he acknowledges the fans. He'll be hanging around long after the race and signing autographs.
Moto 2, they're revving up, ready to go. Let's see if Emig can get another hole shot. He sure has put the traction down to get him recently. The chase to the first turn, and guess who? Number 2, Emig. But Jeremy, once again, is right there.
A little bit better than this first moto. He had to work his way through a few riders, including Larry Ward, to get into 2nd the first moto, but here he's right on Emig.
Emig, McGrath, 1 and 2. As the order starts to change behind those two, it'll come out Larry Ward, number 6. Hughes, a good start, number 5, just to the left of Ward, and that's Albertine to the right, number 16.
Right away, Jeremy not following, elected to take this a little different line than Emig everywhere. He wants to show him a wheel, and he wants to keep Emig guessing.
Emig trying to protect his line with Jeremy McGrath, anxious to take the lead early, and does so to the inside.
It looks like Emig's going to lose another spot, too. Albertine sneaks around, follows Jeremy around. Emig not going to give it up, though. They're still banging. Look, they get stuck.
It looks like Albertine has taken over 2nd. Yes, he has. Team Suzuki, number 16, Greg Albertine. Larry Ward in 3rd. And then Hughes, number 5, with his teammate Jeff Emig behind him. I think it's now as Emig tries to make a move right here. But Hughes hasn't gotten those orders.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. Now look at all the time.
And Jeremy McGrath went down. This changes the whole complexion of things. Albertine is our new leader.
Well, Jeremy just let the front end wash out. That's one of the slickest places on the racetrack. sharp little left-hander threw kind of an off camber, and his front wheel apparently went over that rut and just washed out. It was in a place though where he was able to get up quickly and didn't lose that much time. But can you imagine had Emig moved around his teammate Hughes, he'd be a little bit closer to Jeremy right now, and that overall would still look like a real possibility.
How lucky is it that you're able to keep that motor running so you can get right up and going again?
Well, he'd have lost all these spots had he kept it, not kept it running.
Well, the complexion has certainly changed as Jeremy McGrath tried to come back now on Greg Albertine to the right. Jeremy McGrath in the jump section makes things look a little easy, even though he jammed that last one. Looks back to see where Greg Albertine is. Going back to last year, Jeremy had 11 consecutive moto wins, 6 consecutive overalls before Mount Morris of this year. He won 3 straight this season, of course, but took a third at Mount Morris with a 5-1. Didn't take him long to get back, though, with 2 wins and then 2 second-place overalls before this race here, which would give him another overall victory.
That was pretty slick, too. He came over that jump there just before a little stair-step uphill. I don't know what you want to call it, a little staircase section going up, and he just stayed on the gas and held a wheelie all the way into it so he could kind of pre-jump off the top. The guy just has neat little techniques everywhere around the racetrack that not only faster but save energy.
It's a long way back to Ward in second place, but Ward now is getting a challenge from Emig.
Well, we'll see what Larry Ward's made of right here. This is his place. He likes it. Emig's going to have to earn it. As long as he stays in his lines and doesn't make any mistakes, he should be able to hang on to second here.
McGrath, Ward in second, Emig a close third.
Emig just flew off that jump right there. He jumped half again or twice as far as everyone else has been jumping. He's doing everything he can. You can see he wants this back. Doesn't want to lose any more points to Jeremy. He's given it everything he has today, and he's still going to lose points to Jeremy, who had a real lackadaisical first moto, in his own words.
Yeah, non-motivated. And it looked like he was such as he came across the finish line with the checkered flag waving. Jeremy looks back, gives the thumbs up to the interview area, so Marty doesn't have to walk too far.
Kind of a mini fist pump there for Skip. Well, yeah, we got it done. Wasn't pretty, but we did it.
McGrath, Ward, Emig, Hughes a 4th, and Greg Albertine hanging on for a 5th place. Welcome to Millville, Minnesota. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Marty Reed. So we're just about set to get underway here in Moto 1 for the 250s at Millville, Minnesota. What a beautiful day it is for racing. Not too humid this time around. And the start, Jeff Emig with a great start, number 2. There's Albertine, number 16, right at his left side. Albertine, Henry, number 15, moving into second place now as they start to hit the bumpy area. This man, Jeff Emig, and he is blitzing this course.
I thought Ryan Hughes would stay a little closer to him because I know Ryan's tough. He really wants to pick up a win before the season's over with, and this is the kind of track where Ryan would do well, but Emig's pulling away.
You suppose psychologically now it's just been a bigger boost? Oh, Greg Albertine has pulled off the track. We suspected he might be having problems.
It's hard to tell from this conversation what it is, but Albertine seems to be all right. I would imagine it's something to do with the bike now.
He's looking at the back end of it. Oh, he is very, very disappointed because he's had some outstanding rides lately.
That looks like a flat tire to me.
It is. That's it. He's looking down at the back tire. It is a flat tire. Oh, Lewis goes sideways and goes into the trees. And that soft sand, the back wheel is still spinning, digging its way into the sand. Lewis having trouble getting back up and going. Well, the veteran doing a tug of war now with his own bike. Before this race got underway, Marty was able to catch up with Jeff.
It's no secret. Everybody knows Jeremy had a fall, and he's not feeling too well right now. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah. Look at this. Like you don't know. Like he doesn't know when you go down. Well, do you think that's going to change anything as far as this race is concerned?
Well, I don't know the magnitude of his injuries or anything else, outside of the fact that whether he does ride or doesn't ride, any of that, it doesn't matter, because for me to get the points that I need to catch up in the national championship points race, I got to win. If I want to get the 50 points, I got to win.
He's less than half a lap away from that victory. You know, injuries play a part of the championship race in this sport. The ability or luck of staying away from injury is really part of winning in motocross?
You can just about count on having some kind of an injury during the season. How severe that is really remains a question, but I can't recall any season I ever went through where I didn't have something bothering me, where I had to ride and favor it.
A good feeling as he puts thumbs up to the crowd, and I would imagine he'll put thumbs up to his contract negotiations. He's got a contract in hand. I'm not sure he's signed it yet, but it would be a totally new day if he should take over the points lead.
Well, every time he wins a moto like this and proves that he can win, it just gives him a little more leverage. So the longer he holds on to that contract, the more money he'll probably get.
An easy victory at the end for Jeff Emig. Ryan Hughes in second, Mike LaRocco, Jimmy Button, Phil Lawrence, Jeremy McGrath placed in 9th position. Jeff Emig again, the whole shot. There's Jimmy Button 100, another good performance. Jeremy McGrath, a much better start, though, in about 5th position on the inside there. Here's Henry coming to the outside, and Stratton goes flying. Larry Ward goes off the track. This is the battle for 4th place, Ryan Hughes and Jeremy McGrath.
Hughes square in that corner, trying to get a run at Jeremy. Jeremy's wounded. He's doing the best he can. Ryan's, he's going to be a threat. I don't think Jeremy will be able to hold him off very long. Well, there you go.
Ryan really charged after the 2nd place finish in moto number 1. He moves into 4th place, and he's on the move. He's got privateers in front of him. Here comes Albie putting the test to Jimmy Button.
Listen to Albertine's bike. I don't know if it's Button's bike or Albertine. What?
Oh! Balancing act by Albie. He's had enough of that this year.
Well, maybe McGrath's grinning right now. He's back there watching all this. But it sounds to me like it's either Button or Albertine, but one of their bikes, the pipe has come loose or the silencer, something's happened to it, and it's not making full power.
We haven't seen him for a while, but out front, riding flawlessly, is Jeff Emig. Here's Jimmy Button and Greg Albertine. That's really the closest competition of moto number 2.
Yeah, it kind of seems like Albertine is going to move his way around Button. He's caught him. He seems to be going a little bit quicker. Actually going a lot quicker as he moves around Jimmy Button. Button's number plate, that would bug me. That's happened to me before. What happens is the front brake cable runs through it, and every time the forks compress, the thing jiggles around. It doesn't mess with his concentration a little bit. You can see Emig has got enough of a lead that he can cruise around and acknowledge the fans. He's done his job today, back-to-back moto wins. He has no idea how good Hughes rode, but had Hughes gotten a better start, he'd have been a real threat for Jeff.
If Emig's to win the point championship, Hughes could play an important part.
He could, and had Hughes been up there in the first place, Kawasaki may have elected to have him hold back and let Emig get those points. It used to happen to Hanna every year here in Millville because he didn't figure into the overall point standings, and he was fast enough to win the race, and he had to let me by one year, he let Machine by another year, and you can bet that Kawasaki was going to try to pick up all those points. An extra 3 may make the difference in the end.
The checkered flag for Jeff Emig, his first sweep of the season. His 5th moto win, equaling last season's total amount. Jeremy McGrath, after the 9th place finish of the first moto, is currently in 7th place. So the calculators are busy. But one thing for sure, David, the complexion of this 96 season has changed. The outcome is now uncertain. The battle is on.
Well, Jeremy has definitely lost a lot of points to Emig, and in the process, Emig is gaining confidence. This will be a long flight home and an ugly week off. And if he doesn't come back to Washougal and make a statement, get some moto wins, it's going to go down to the wire.
All the bikes, it's get nervous time now at the gate. Almost set to go here in Moto 1 from Washougal, Washington. Jeremy getting out of the gate pretty well. Greg Albertine also, but it is number 2. Who else but Jeff Emig, the whole shot king this year, getting into the top position early.
Drifts a little wide off that jump, protects his line into that right-hander. Doesn't want to let anybody get up to the inside of him, especially with Jeremy back there.
Jeremy's in 2nd place as he passes Kyle Lewis, number 11. This is Lewis is one of his favorite tracks, really, after a 3rd overall last year, his best finish in the Nationals on the 250s. All kinds of room on this track for a possible pass as Albertine tries to set up on Jeremy McGrath.
As long as he stays this close to Jeremy, that will bother him. There's another left-hander. You can see Jeremy bobble just a little bit. They didn't lose a lot of speed, but you can see he's affected by it.
Albertine shows him a wheel going into that tight corner, and a get off now for McGrath.
Looked to me like Albertine just forced him to go a little bit wide there. Jeremy was starting to cut back across into his line, and Albertine was already there, hit his front wheel, and that's what caused Jeremy to go down. So.
And now he's got number 8, Mike Larocco, breathing down his back.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for Jeremy. I've ridden in pain, and one guy after another starts challenging you where you normally aren't in that situation, and you have to adapt. Meanwhile, in the back of your mind, you know that your points lead slipping away because Emig's out front, and it's going to be a tough day for him. But if he can hang on to the top 3 or 4 position here, that'll give a lot of confidence going into the second moto. Faster sections, they drop back down to the bottom. Watch Bradshaw's line to the outside.
Bradshaw! Oh, what a move on Ryan Hughes!
He's been doing that the whole time, using that outside line. And what a fantastic line. He just laid it over and drug the handlebar through there. Surprise, Ryan Hughes. A little whip for the fans right there. Bradshaw's feeling it. The crowd is into it.
Hughes and Jeremy McGrath. McGrath starting to pick it up a bit.
Better. He's really watching points disappear. He doesn't want Hughes. I mean, these guys are all friends. Hughes, Emig, Jeremy, and Jeremy is trying to hang on to a title here, something he's worked so hard for all year, and now because of an injury, he's in a fight, losing points, and now he sees his friend, Ryan, helping out Jeff Emig, his teammate. He has to do it. Jeremy doesn't want it to happen.
Oh, Jeremy McGrath in the same corner. That left-handed turn goes down again.
Goes Phil Lawrence, the lap rider there. Brian Swink goes around. Larry Ward, he's going to lose a lot of position. He's got to balance on that injured foot while he's trying to start the motorcycle.
A bad break for Jeremy McGrath and his chances for a title. Jeff Emig, once he leaves these whoops, he'll be seeing the white flag. And there's Wes McCoy, team manager for Honda. Oh, and Greg Albertine has gone completely off the track. He was in second place. Oh, my goodness. This will cost him more time, more points, and what a jolt trying to get back over that fence.
That may have been a worse crash than what got him there in the first place. A lot of help from the fans. I don't know what the ruling is on that. I guess he's in a situation where, watch him, he's going to try to pop a wheelie with the front end over that fence, but he just gets a lot of wheel spin.
That's a tough, high fence to try to get over, and of course he found out the hard way. The last turn through the whoops for Jeff Emig. He has his mind set on his 6th moto win of the year. Skip Norfolk very quiet now, giving his last minute instructions to Jeremy McGrath.
Once again, those guys start right next to each other. Seems like they do that about every week. Emig's been getting the better into the stick, though. By the time they get to the first corner, we'll see if that holds true again.
One of Jeff Emig's big advantages lately has been getting that hole shot as the 32nd board goes sideways, and we're off. Moto number 2. Emig not that great a start. Oh, we've got a new man out front. It is Rich Taylor, number 48. Amaradio, number 30.
Amaradio getting all out of control, going across in front of Henry. Water the track a little bit in prep before the start. Guys getting squirrely there.
Oh, Taylor almost lost it. He did a Superman act right there. It's Taylor, Ward, Henry, Amaradio, Larocco, all in front of the points leader.
Taylor's a good rider, but he's not the kind of guy that gets the hole shot very often. He's probably a little surprised with himself. Did a little treat ride there, but he stayed on it.
Rich Taylor, number 48, his best overall finish on the year, a 10th place. In fact, he's done that 3 times. There goes Hughes, number 5, Larocco, and Emig. And here we see Jeremy McGrath. So they're embedded back in the pack.
Pretty far back, and somebody going down right there, Art.
Jeff DeMett, number 33. He's been out most of the season with injury out of Houston, Texas. Rich Taylor, and he face plants right in the middle of things. So Henry, all of a sudden, in a matter of like 20 seconds, is our new leader. There's McGrath going through. Uh-oh, Brian Swank is also down. The second moto is really taking the numbers. Jimmy Button and Ryan Hughes gets pinned against the tree.
Wow, he took it in the shoulder. That bank has gotten deeper each year. Let's see if we get another look. Watch Ryan, he's gonna hit his shoulder like that. Well, I don't think he hit his shoulder, but it definitely got a handlebar jabbed in his stomach. He didn't have any room to go, and I hope he's okay.
Here in Washougal, Jeff Emig has already cut Jeremy McGrath's lead in the points race down to 11 after the first moto. He's got a good opportunity. Whoa, Jeremy McGrath, who had moved up to 5th place, has gone down, and he doesn't look in good shape, David.
Well, he's already limping on that bad foot. He's torn the boot buckle loose on his left boot. I think that's just a slippery area right there, and it's kind of a little plateau as you're making that left-hand turn. And
oh, he looks stiff and sore right now, and he's not getting back up to speed. He's not looking to get back into the race.
Emig's just sitting right there, just watching it all, seeing how it's going to shake out, hoping these guys will go down. He won't have to pass them.
LaRocco making the move on the inside is in 2nd place now. Well, don't write it down for too long. Don't put it in ink. It's going to change, I have a feeling.
And Emig up that long uphill, tucking right between Larry Ward and LaRocco, trying to stay out of that roost. I can tell you it hurts. He's got 4 guys tossing at him.
Meanwhile, out in front, Mike LaRocco edges in front of Henry momentarily, going into those trees. Oh my goodness, bar to bar, these two battling it out for the lead. What great racing action we've had all afternoon, but this has got to top them all.
I've never seen anything quite that close. They're 4th gear wide open up that hill, locking elbows. Larry Ward's back there just watching the whole thing. We might get a gift if these guys keep that up.
Mike LaRocco still within earshot in case Henry should go down, but it's coming down to the final turn right now for Doug Henry. What a moment for this young man from Massachusetts.
He's pumped. Look at him. He is so happy. The whole Yamaha crew, and even some of the other teams look like they're happy for Doug.
What a great victory for Doug Henry here in Moto 2. Mike LaRocco will be our overall winner. Larry Ward in 3rd place with Jeff Emig in 4th. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs from Binghamton, New York for our championship showdown. No worse than a 3rd place throughout the last 11 events for Emig, and the gate drops. We're underway. Moto number 1. Let's see who gets the whole shot. It is Jeremy McGrath on the inside, number 1. Emig, Albertine, Ward, and LaRocco all in the fight here as the race gets underway.
Emig right there. Jeremy had to close him off coming out of the corner. Jeremy did a good job of staying in that berm in the first corner. He came in there pretty hot. Emig right underneath him. If he'd have drifted just a little bit, Emig would have had it.
If this was earlier in the season, David Bailey, you'd think, well, Jeremy McGrath has got the whole shot now. There's no way he'll crack into the pressure. He's got the speed to just take away and go for the victory. Jeff Emig behind him, though, now has that confidence that he has seen Jeremy McGrath not at his best. Mike LaRocco to the inside of his teammate. Albie shuts the door for the time being anyway, but here goes LaRocco up the hill. Mike LaRocco moving into 3rd. Albie tries to come back. And Michael secures that position. Jeremy McGrath now pulling a 4-second lead on Jeff Emig.
Still within Emig's sights, though. You can see Emig just coming out of the corner there. It fluctuates in different portions of the track. Jeremy opened it up to about 4, then certain times, depending on the lap riders, Emig gets pretty close. You can hear the crowd getting into it.
So the mechanics waved hello and goodbye to them as they head now toward the finish. Good tight cut by Jeremy McGrath, holding onto the control of that machine. Here's the checkers coming up. Jeremy McGrath did what he had to do in the first moto.
Yeah, and you can see the little fist pump. He knows that was critical.
Not too much fist pump, though, because he knows he's got another one to go as Mike LaRocco headed toward the finish line for 3rd here in our opening moto.
Albertine keeping that tight. Looked like LaRocco had it at pretty good distance for a while, but Albertine closed it back up, letting him know he's there. Ryan Hughes can definitely be a part of it. He could help his teammate, too. If Emig can get the win here, and Hughes would be 2nd, that push Jeremy even further back.
Okay, we're set to go, and it's off for Moto 2. Who will get the whole shot this time around? Jeremy in great position on the inside. Let's try to figure out where Emig is. Yes, he's on the right-hand side. He just gets around that pileup. Oh, that was lucky for Emig, but Hughes is wrapped up in the pileup. You see Chester right in front of us here hit the hay bales in a separate incident. There's Hughes, number 5, just getting underway.
Now, what a break from McGrath right now, considering what's going on with the points chase. McGrath with another hole shot. Emig mid-pack right now. Something that's impressed me, though, lately with Jeff Emig, and it hasn't been that way through his whole career, but lately he's been strong at coming through the pack. So,
he's riding on the edge, obviously trying to catch up, and he disassembled a hay bale right there.
That could have been the title right there. Both feet off. He's just trying to hug that inside line. Trying to look for a good spot to make a pass. Got a little too close. Good save.
Jeremy, very fast. And his technique is flawless right now, with Albertine doing all he can to keep up with him.
You can see Jeff, how desperate he is, trying to go inside, outside. The guys in front of him having to battle amongst themselves, taking all the lines. He reaches up for a tear-off there. I don't know how many more he's got.
I bet he put more on this moto than he had last.
Well, he sounded like he was pretty confident in going out and getting the hole shot, so he may not have. Trying to go around the outside. It works.
Oh, boy, what a clean sweep that was by Emig on Bradshaw. Bradshaw trying to fight back. But Emig puts the throttle down. Emig with the big leaping move to the outside. Goes to the berm, cuts to the inside. Oh, my goodness. Emig gets by for second. So Jeremy McGrath curling around on the final lap. Takes the checkers, and there is a happy young man. He did all he could do here this afternoon. The checkers for Jeremy, his 6th sweep, his 7th overall. Here's the Moto 2 results. McGrath, Emig, Albertine, Ward, and Lewis are top 5.
The yards to go. There it is, the checkered flag. Our champion for 1995, Steve Lamson.
Last season, it was the 125s that came down to the final event. Steve Lamson winning the title in the final moto over Ryan Hughes. Hughes, to the roar of the fans, pushing his wounded machine over the finish line before collapsing from exhaustion. In 1996, it's the 250s with the final event title chase. Once thought untouchable defending champion Jeremy McGrath versus the focused and determined points leader, Jeff Emig. The heavyweights of motocross square off today at the Steel City Showdown. Both moto warriors with visions of the glories and riches the championships bring. The riders on the parade lap getting ready for our 250 Moto number 1 from Steel City, and the record crowd, David, is so excited right now. As Jeff Emig told us last week, this is as good as it gets, coming right down to the final event, just 2 points separating the two contenders. Full camps, really, David, trying to act just as business as usual.
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do, try to act normal, but believe me, they're all feeling it inside, everybody. There's a lot of tension in this.
And starts mean so much, especially between these two riders. They have the majority of the hole shots between them. Jeff Emig, more successful later in the season. They're off for the first moto. Emig with a good cut to the inside. Emig will get the hole shot. Where is Jeremy? Big pile up in turn 1, and I believe that was Brian Swink that went down along with Greg Albertine. If he hopes to get the championship again, it is a must-win for Jeremy McGrath as he cuts into the backside of Jeff Emig now. Emig trying to hold his own as we go to the helicopter shot to see the lines. Jeremy McGrath to the inside, has the edge, and oh my goodness, already Jeremy has made the break himself. Here comes Emig right back again. Can he re-secure the lead? Oh, we almost lost it right there as his toe caught and went backward. It looked like it might even hit the tire of Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah, Jeremy almost ran into the foot, and if he didn't, of Emig, that could have been they could have both gone down right there. But what an aggressive move by Emig. See Stanton right there telling Jeremy, use your head, just be patient, long moto, and wear him down. He's done it before, but I think that was a significant move right there. Jeremy caught him, passed him, probably figured, okay, now I'm in control. After last week, won both motos, going away, but Emig is here to fight. Got him right back, and that would mess with your confidence.
This would give Emig a 5-point lead going into the final moto of the season. That doesn't mean that he can relax, though, Dave.
Absolutely not. This is a great win. It's going to put him 5 points up. He'll be a little more relaxed in the pits between motos, but if Jeremy wins the next moto, he's still got to finish second. Otherwise, they'll tie, and that tie will go to Jeremy with the most wins on the season.
Only a short period of time now before Jeff Emig turns that corner and sees the checkered flag. Very popular here at the Delmont track. Jeff Emig has won the first moto. Boy, what an advantage that is for this young man. Jeff Emig, Jeremy McGrath finishing second. Mike LaRocca holding on to third, with Hughes and Ward rounding out the top 5. The game plan for Jeremy McGrath is simple. Win. Bikes revving up, getting ready to go here for moto number 2 now for the 250s. They're off. The all-important hole shot. Look at the acceleration on the inside by Emig, and he brakes just in time for the hole shot. Where's Jeremy McGrath? He got pinched off there in that first turn.
I think he avoided all that cluster in the second corner, though. He went wide. But this is a nightmare for McGrath right now. Emig out in front. Jeremy's somewhere maybe 10th, 15th, best I can tell.
Was Jeremy McGrath now trying to pick off the riders, has moved all the way up to Larry Ward. He's wasted little time weeding through the riders, but now he's got some real toughies in front of him.
Well, Albertine will be tough. I don't know. I think he'll be able to get around Larry Ward because Larry Ward's a little bit more predictable. Now, I'm not saying Larry Ward's slow. Don't get me wrong. Larry is definitely quick, but Albertine is a little bit more erratic, and he's the kind of guy that can just turn it on a little bit more and kind of catch you by surprise, same way Emig did to Jeremy in the first moto. That's going to be tough. And Henry, well, nobody's got around him yet, so he will, of course, be tough. Jeremy's definitely got the pressure on. You can see how far away Albertine, he's already heading up the hill now.
Here goes Jeremy now. He's got the clean drag strip move on Doug Henry.
Now looks over his shoulder at Doug like, thanks for not making that too tough. He didn't lose much time being back there. Henry's still got a good pace going. Now that Jeremy's into third, it's interesting too because Albertine has actually closed up on Emig a little bit, and as long as he's close to Emig, if Jeremy can catch up and pass him, and Albertine does too, Jeremy's going to get the title. You know, in the Honda pits, they're all crossing their fingers, hoping that plays out.
Jeff Emig could be only the 4th rider to win a 125 and 250 national title. That seems incredible to me. Jeff Ward, Bob Hanna, Mike Kudrowski. There's 2 Kawasaki riders out of those 3.
Well, he can just about coast there now. You can hear the crowd. They realize what's happened here. Jeff Emig has beaten Jeremy McGrath.
The Jeff Froh crew, and you saw the big sign out there hanging out as he takes the jump. Part of Jeff Emig's fan club almost getting on the track. You know, we don't want to take too much away from Jeremy McGrath either. One of the greatest riders the sport has ever seen. He's proved that. He proved it last year, winning this very title. But it's a tribute to number 2, Jeff Emig. He has stepped up to the level.
He has. This is what happens when you stay in the game and keep the pressure on and don't lose your focus. Don't lose sight of your goals. He said last year after this race, he goes, well, this is the first year on the 250s, second, it's not bad. I got to improve. Next year I'm going to win it. Looks like he's going to.
How many people believed him at the time?
I was going, well, that's a great goal there, Jeff, but I didn't have a lot of confidence. In fact, before this race, during the week, I was thinking, well, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff pulled this off, but I wouldn't bet against Jeremy. And now that it's actually happening and it looks like it might be Emig's title, I'm just a little bit surprised. Very impressed with the way he's ridden.
From up above, the helicopter shot as the turns are winding down to very few now for Jeff Emig as he heads toward the finish line. What a proud moment it has to be for this young man and for the entire Team Kawasaki. Yes, he's saying to himself, I did do it. Greg Albertine off to his right, congratulating him and his many fans. He's just exploding inside. The next step in a wonderful career already. He's wondering right now just how high can I get. It's going to be a while before he comes down. Jeff Emig, our winner. Albertine, second. Morocco fighting back for 7th, gives him a 3rd overall. Let's get down to that winner, though. Jeff Emig, he's with Davey.
All right, we're down here in the winner's circle with our 1996 250 national champion, Jeff Emig. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I couldn't have done it without my mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht, and my team, Kawasaki. I don't know what to say. We got a lot of seconds this year, and coming into this race, second wasn't going to be good enough. And I was really focused on my starts and just riding perfect races. And I can't tell you just how happy I am right now. Like it hasn't soaked in yet, but I just feel so good.
Well, those were 2 totally perfect races. A lot of times, like in the Supercross Series and early in the National Series, you'd have trouble with McGrath behind you. No problem today, either moto.
Well, Jeremy's been, he's been great, the last 4 or 5 years, and his Supercross skills, are just, they're just super. But I got a lot of seconds this year, like I said, and I just knew that I had to come out and just win the motos. So.
Are you stoked to have your dad here watching you?
Yeah, I'd like to say hi to my dad and sister and everybody else, my brother at home, and my trainer John Hall. There's a lot of people that are involved, like in winning a national championship like this, and the list is long, but you all know who you are, and I thank you so much.
A quick look back at the most fierce rivalry in a great 1996 season. Jeremy McGrath started off dominating, and then at Millville.
It's obvious from Jeremy's comment that the season would have been completely different had he not had that injury.